The Art of India, From Ancient Times to the Present, written by Haya Vent, narrated by Kara Miller. Chapter 1, Introduction to Indian Art. Indian art is a vast and diverse expression of the country's rich cultural and historical heritage. Spanning thousands of years, it reflects the spiritual, philosophical, and social dimensions of Indian civilization. Art in India has always been deeply intertwined with religion, mythology, and daily life, evolving through various dynasties and cultural influences. From the earliest cave paintings to contemporary digital art, Indian artistic traditions showcase an extraordinary range of styles, techniques, and materials. A defining feature of Indian art is its spiritual foundation. Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and later Islam and Christianity have played crucial roles in shaping artistic expression. Temples, sculptures, and paintings often depict deities, epics, and philosophical themes, serving as both devotional objects and narrative tools. The profound connection between art and religion is evident in temple architecture, where intricate carvings and grand structures are designed to embody cosmic principles. Similarly, Buddhist stupas and Jain temples reflect a deep sense of spiritual devotion and artistic excellence. Another key characteristic of Indian art is its regional diversity. The subcontinent's vast geography has led to the development of distinct artistic traditions in different areas. South India, for instance, is known for its magnificent Dravidian temples and bronze sculptures, while North India boasts grand Mughal architecture and exquisite miniature paintings. Folk and tribal art, such as Madhubani from Bihar, Warli from Maharashtra, and Patachitra from Odisha, add further depth to India's artistic landscape, preserving indigenous storytelling and cultural traditions. Indian art has also been shaped by external influences over time. The Mauryan and Gupta periods saw the flourishing of Buddhist and Hindu artistic traditions, while Islamic rule introduced Persian aesthetics, which blended with Indian styles to create unique forms like Mughal miniature painting. The colonial period brought European artistic techniques and perspectives, leading to the emergence of modern Indian art movements. Artists like Raja Ravi Varma combined Western realism with Indian themes, while the Bengal school sought to revive indigenous artistic traditions. In the modern era, Indian art continues to evolve, embracing new media and global trends. Contemporary artists experiment with digital technology, installations, and abstract forms, pushing the boundaries of traditional artistic expression. At the same time, efforts to preserve and revive traditional art forms remain strong, ensuring that India's artistic heritage continues to inspire future generations. As we explore the history of Indian art in the following chapters, we will uncover the rich visual narratives, architectural marvels, and cultural transformations that have shaped India's artistic identity from ancient times to the present. Defining Indian art, a cultural perspective. Indian art is an intricate tapestry woven with history, spirituality, and cultural diversity. It is not merely an aesthetic pursuit, but a reflection of the country's social, religious, and philosophical beliefs. Unlike Western traditions that often separate art from daily life, Indian art has been an integral part of rituals, storytelling, and devotion. From grand temple sculptures to humble folk paintings, every artistic expression in India carries deeper cultural significance, illustrating myths, epics, and the essence of human existence. A fundamental aspect of Indian art is its close relationship with religion. Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain traditions have profoundly influenced artistic expression, creating a visual language that communicates spiritual ideas. Temples, shrines, and sacred manuscripts are adorned with elaborate paintings and sculptures that depict gods, celestial beings, and scenes from religious texts. This deep connection with faith has given Indian art a unique identity, where form and symbolism work together to transcend the material world. Islamic and Christian influences later introduced new artistic dimensions, enriching India's visual heritage with calligraphy, geometric patterns, and realistic portraiture. Regional diversity plays a crucial role in shaping Indian art. Every part of the country has developed its own artistic traditions, influenced by local customs, materials, and patronage. The intricate stone carvings of South Indian temples contrast with the delicate frescoes of Rajasthani palaces, while the bold, earthy strokes of tribal Worli paintings stand apart from the detailed miniatures of the Mughal court. Despite their differences, these regional styles share a common thread, an emphasis on storytelling. Whether through sculpture, painting, or dance, Indian art seeks to narrate the experiences of gods and mortals alike, creating a bridge between the mystical and the mundane. Another defining characteristic of Indian art is its use of symbolism. Colors, gestures, and motifs are imbued with meaning, often rooted in ancient texts and traditions. The lotus, for example, symbolizes purity and enlightenment, while specific hand gestures, or mudras, convey different emotions and divine attributes. This symbolic depth allows Indian art to function as both a visual and intellectual experience, inviting viewers to engage with its deeper meanings. Indian art has never remained static. It has continuously evolved, absorbing new influences while preserving its core values. The arrival of Persian and European artistic traditions introduced new techniques and perspectives, but Indian artists adapted them to their own cultural contexts. Today, contemporary Indian art embraces modern media while still drawing inspiration from ancient themes. In this way, Indian art remains a living tradition, constantly redefining itself while staying rooted in its rich cultural past. Influence of religion, mythology, and philosophy. Indian art is deeply intertwined with religion, mythology, and philosophy, shaping its themes, symbolism, and purpose. Unlike purely decorative or representational art, much of Indian artistic expression serves as a medium for spiritual exploration and storytelling. Throughout history, artistic traditions have been guided by sacred texts, devotional practices, and philosophical ideas, resulting in a visual culture that conveys both divine narratives and profound metaphysical concepts. Hinduism, with its vast pantheon of deities and rich mythological traditions, has played a central role in shaping Indian art. Temples are adorned with intricate sculptures and frescoes depicting scenes from epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as stories from the Puranas. These narratives are not merely decorative. They serve as teaching tools, bringing sacred stories to life for devotees. Deities are depicted with symbolic attributes. Vishnu with his conch and discus, Shiva with his trident and third eye, and Durga slaying the buffalo demon, each element carrying layers of spiritual meaning. The concept of bhakti devotion is central to Hindu artistic traditions, with sculptures, paintings, and dance forms serving as expressions of divine love and reverence. Buddhism and Jainism have also made significant contributions to Indian art, emphasizing themes of nonviolence, meditation, and spiritual liberation. Buddhist art, from the serene statues of the Buddha to the elaborate frescoes of Ajanta, embodies the philosophy of inner peace and enlightenment. The construction of stupas, such as the Great Stupa at Sanchi, serves both as a religious monument and an artistic marvel, symbolizing the path to nirvana. Jain art, with its meticulous attention to detail, reflects the religion's emphasis on purity and asceticism. Jain temples, such as those at Mount Abu, showcase exquisitely carved marble, illustrating devotion to non-materialistic ideals. Islamic influence introduced new artistic sensibilities to India, particularly in architecture, calligraphy, and miniature painting. The Islamic emphasis on geometric patterns, arabesques, and intricate floral designs complemented Indian artistic traditions, leading to a unique fusion of styles. Mughal art, in particular, combined Persian, Central Asian, and Indian elements, resulting in masterpieces like the Taj Mahal and the richly detailed Mughal miniatures. Sufi philosophy, with its focus on divine love and unity, found expression in mystical poetry, music, and architectural forms. Indian philosophy, including concepts from Vedanta, Tantra, and yogic traditions, has also shaped artistic expression. The representation of cosmic cycles, mandalas, and sacred geometry reflects a deep understanding of metaphysical principles. Art in India is not just a reflection of religious belief, but an embodiment of a broader philosophical worldview that sees the divine in every aspect of existence. Artistic traditions across regions. India's vast and diverse landscape has given rise to a rich array of artistic traditions, each shaped by regional history, cultural influences, and local materials. From the grand temple sculptures of the South to the intricate miniature paintings of the North, Indian art is a reflection of the country's varied geography and traditions. Despite their differences, these artistic forms share a common emphasis on storytelling, spirituality, and craftsmanship. In North India, the Mughal influence played a significant role in shaping artistic traditions. Mughal miniature paintings, known for their intricate detailing and vibrant colors, flourished under royal patronage. These paintings depicted courtly life, historical battles, and literary themes, blending Persian techniques with Indian aesthetics. The region is also home to magnificent architectural wonders, including the Taj Mahal and the forts of Rajasthan, which showcase a fusion of Islamic, Persian, and Rajput styles. Rajput painting, another prominent tradition in the north, developed in the courts of Rajasthan and Himachal Pradesh, illustrating themes from Hindu epics and local folklore with bold colors and expressive figures. In contrast, South India is renowned for its temple architecture and bronze sculptures. The Dravidian temples of Tamil Nadu, such as the Brihadiswarar Temple and the Meenakshi Temple, are adorned with elaborate carvings that narrate stories from Hindu mythology. Chola bronzes, created using the lost wax casting technique, are celebrated for their graceful forms and spiritual depth, particularly the iconic representations of Nataraja, the cosmic dancer form of Shiva. South Indian painting traditions, such as Tanjore paintings, are characterized by their use of gold leaf and rich colors, often depicting gods and goddesses in a highly stylized manner. Eastern India has a long history of artistic excellence, with traditions deeply rooted in religious and folk expressions. The Odisha region is known for its exquisite Patachitra paintings, which depict scenes from Hindu mythology on cloth or dried palm leaves. The temples of Konark and Puri feature detailed stone carvings that reflect the artistic mastery of the region. Bengal, on the other hand, became a major center for modern Indian art during the colonial period, with the Bengal school playing a key role in reviving traditional themes in a contemporary style. Western India, particularly Gujarat and Rajasthan, is famous for its vibrant folk arts, including textile traditions like block printing, tie-dye, and embroidery. Warli painting, a tribal art form from Maharashtra, uses simple geometric patterns to depict daily life and spiritual themes. The region's architectural heritage includes the intricately carved stepwells and grand palaces of Jaipur and Udaipur, showcasing a blend of Rajput and Mughal influences. From the Himalayan monasteries, adorned with Buddhist murals, to the tribal art of central India, the country's artistic traditions remain deeply rooted in regional identity, continuously evolving while preserving their rich heritage. Chapter 2: Prehistoric and Indus Valley Art. The origins of Indian art can be traced back to prehistoric times, when early humans created some of the earliest forms of artistic expression. The rock paintings found in caves such as Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh provide valuable insights into the lives and beliefs of prehistoric communities. These paintings, dating back to the Upper Paleolithic period, depict scenes of hunting, dancing, and ritualistic activities, often using natural pigments like red and white ochre. The simplicity of these forms, along with their dynamic movement, suggests a deep connection between early humans and their environment. The artistic style of these cave paintings remained influential for centuries, with similar depictions continuing in folk and tribal art traditions. As civilization advanced, the Indus Valley Civilization, c. 2500 to 1900 BCE, emerged as one of the earliest urban cultures in the world, bringing with it a sophisticated artistic tradition. The art of this civilization reflects a high level of craftsmanship, particularly in sculpture, pottery, and seal carving. Among the most famous artifacts from this period is the bronze dancing girl statue, a small yet striking representation of a confident female figure. This sculpture, created using the lost wax technique, reveals an understanding of human anatomy and movement, suggesting that dance and performance held an important place in Indus society. Another remarkable example of Indus Valley artistry is the priest king statue, a steatite figure featuring intricate patterns on its clothing and an enigmatic expression. The precise function of such sculptures remains uncertain, but they indicate an advanced sense of aesthetics and possibly religious or political significance. The civilization also produced a vast number of terracotta figurines, many of which represent animals, deities, and everyday life, shedding light on the beliefs and domestic practices of the time. One of the most distinctive contributions of the Indus Valley civilization to Indian art is its seal carvings. These small, finely crafted seals, made of steatite and other materials, typically depict animals, deities, and undeciphered script. The most famous of these is the Pashupati seal, which portrays a horned figure seated in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals. Some scholars believe this figure represents an early form of Shiva, suggesting the roots of Hindu iconography can be traced back to this period. While the exact meanings and functions of many Indus Valley artworks remain a mystery, they provide a glimpse into a highly developed artistic culture. The artistic traditions established during this era laid the foundation for the visual and symbolic language that would continue to evolve in later Indian civilizations. Rock art and cave paintings. Rock art and cave paintings represent some of the earliest artistic expressions in India, offering a fascinating glimpse into the lives, beliefs, and creativity of prehistoric communities. Found in various regions across the country, these paintings primarily date back to the Upper Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic periods, spanning thousands of years. The most significant discoveries come from sites like the Bhimbetka Caves in Madhya Pradesh, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that preserves an extensive collection of prehistoric artwork. These paintings, created using natural pigments such as red and white ochre, charcoal, and hematite, were applied to rock surfaces using fingers, brushes made of plant fibers, or directly with hands. The subjects of these artworks reflect the everyday experiences and spiritual world of early humans. Hunting scenes are among the most common depictions, showing human figures armed with bows, spears, and other weapons, often engaged in dynamic chases with animals such as deer, bison, and boars. These images suggest a deep connection between early humans and their environment, emphasizing the importance of hunting for survival. Apart from hunting scenes, the cave paintings also depict social and ritualistic activities. Dancing figures, communal gatherings, and scenes of celebration indicate that these early societies had structured social interactions and possibly ritualistic or religious practices. Some paintings show anthropomorphic figures with elaborate headgear and animal-like features, which may represent deities, shamans, or spiritual beings. These elements suggest that rock art was not merely decorative, but carried symbolic or ritualistic significance, possibly serving as a medium for storytelling, communication, or spiritual expression. The artistic style of these cave paintings varies across different time periods and regions. Early Paleolithic paintings are often simplistic, consisting of stick-like human figures and rudimentary animal forms. As time progressed, Mesolithic and Neolithic paintings became more detailed, incorporating more naturalistic representations of humans and animals. Some later paintings even depict domesticated animals, agricultural activities, and wheeled carts, indicating a shift in lifestyle from hunter-gatherers to settled farming communities. One of the remarkable aspects of Indian rock art is its continuity with later artistic traditions. Many tribal and folk art forms, such as Warli and Gone paintings, share stylistic similarities with prehistoric cave paintings, particularly in their use of geometric patterns and storytelling techniques. This suggests that the artistic legacy of early humans has persisted through generations, evolving while retaining its fundamental visual language. Rock art and cave paintings remain a crucial part of India's artistic heritage, providing valuable insights into the cultural and spiritual life of prehistoric societies. These ancient works of art serve as a bridge to the past, helping us understand how early humans perceived the world around them and expressed their place within it. Harappan seals and terracotta figurines. The art of the Harappan, or Indus Valley Civilization, c. 2500 to 1900 BCE, reflects a highly developed sense of aesthetics, craftsmanship, and symbolism. Among the most significant artistic contributions of this civilization are its seals and terracotta figurines, which provide valuable insights into the society, beliefs, and daily life of the time. These artifacts, discovered at sites like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, and Dholavira, reveal a sophisticated artistic tradition that was both functional and expressive. Harappan seals are among the most distinctive and well-known artifacts of this civilization. Made primarily from steatite, these small, square-shaped seals feature finely carved animal motifs, human figures, and an undeciphered script. The most famous of these is the Pashupati seal, which depicts a horned figure sitting in a yogic posture, surrounded by animals. Some scholars believe this figure represents an early form of Shiva, suggesting that elements of Hindu religious symbolism can be traced back to the Indus Valley period. Other seals portray animals such as bulls, elephants, rhinoceroses, and unicorn-like creatures, which may have held religious or cultural significance. These seals were likely used for commercial purposes, as they were often found with traces of cord impressions, indicating that they may have been stamped onto trade goods or documents. Their widespread discovery in Mesopotamia and other distant regions suggests that the Harappans engaged in long-distance trade and cultural exchange. In addition to seals, terracotta figurines form an essential part of Harappan artistic expression. These small, handcrafted sculptures primarily depict female figures, often referred to as mother goddesses. These figurines, with their elaborate headdresses, jewelry, and exaggerated feminine features, suggest a strong association with fertility and motherhood. Many scholars believe they were used in religious or fertility-related rituals, indicating the possible worship of a mother goddess deity. Other terracotta figures depict animals such as bulls, dogs, monkeys, and birds, highlighting the close relationship between Harappan society and the natural world. Some terracotta figurines also represent male figures, often with intricate hairstyles and ornaments, suggesting that personal adornment and fashion were important aspects of Harappan culture. Additionally, figurines of carts, toy animals, and household items indicate that these objects were not only religious, but also used for entertainment and everyday life. The craftsmanship of these figurines, despite being made with simple tools, demonstrates a keen attention to detail and artistic skill. The seals and terracotta figurines of the Harappan civilization provide a glimpse into the artistic and cultural achievements of one of the world's earliest urban societies. While much about their meaning remains speculative, these artifacts continue to be valuable sources of information about the beliefs, economy, and daily life of the Indus Valley people. Urban planning and architectural elements. The Harappan, or Indus Valley Civilization c. 2500 to 1900 BCE, is renowned for its advanced urban planning and architectural achievements, which demonstrate a remarkable level of organization, engineering, and civic management. Unlike many other ancient civilizations, the cities of the Harappan culture were meticulously planned, with well-defined streets, drainage systems, and large public structures. The remains of cities such as Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Dholavira, and Lothal provide valuable insights into the sophisticated architectural and infrastructural capabilities of this early civilization. One of the most striking features of Harappan urban planning is the grid-like layout of its cities. The streets were laid out in a precise rectangular pattern, intersecting at right angles, a design that suggests a high degree of central planning. The use of standardized burnt bricks for construction indicates an advanced understanding of building techniques and durability. These bricks were used in the construction of houses, walls, and public structures, ensuring longevity and structural stability. Unlike many contemporary civilizations that relied on unbaked mud bricks, the Harappans demonstrated a preference for well-fired bricks, which contributed to the resilience of their buildings. Another remarkable aspect of Harappan architecture is its sophisticated drainage and sanitation system. Almost every house had access to a well-planned drainage system, with covered drains running along the streets, connected to larger sewer systems. Many homes were equipped with private wells and bathrooms, with wastewater directed into underground drains. This emphasis on sanitation and hygiene was unparalleled in other ancient civilizations and highlights the Harappans' concern for public health and urban cleanliness. Among the most significant architectural structures found in Harappan cities is the Great Bath at Mohenjo-daro. This large, rectangular water tank, built with carefully fitted bricks and a waterproof bitumen lining, suggests that water played an important role in ritualistic or communal activities. The presence of steps leading into the bath and adjacent rooms indicates that it may have been used for religious purification or social gatherings. The Great Bath remains one of the most iconic architectural features of the Indus Valley civilization, demonstrating both engineering skill and an advanced understanding of water management. Public and administrative buildings, such as granaries and assembly halls, further reflect the organizational efficiency of Harappan society. Granaries, found in both Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, suggest the presence of a well-planned system for food storage and distribution. Platforms and large pillared halls indicate the existence of communal or administrative centers where decisions may have been made regarding trade, governance, or social matters. The urban planning and architectural elements of the Harappan civilization highlight its remarkable achievements in city design, infrastructure, and civil engineering. These innovations set a foundation for later urban developments in the Indian subcontinent, influencing architectural practices for centuries to come. Chapter 3. The Maurya and Shunga Periods. The Maurya and Shunga periods, c. 322 BCE to 73 BCE, mark significant developments in Indian art and architecture, reflecting the political, religious, and cultural transformations of the time. Under the Maurya dynasty, particularly during the reign of Emperor Ashoka, 262-32 BCE, art flourished as a means of spreading Buddhist ideals and imperial authority. The subsequent Shunga period, which followed the fall of the Mauryas, saw a revival of indigenous artistic traditions, with a stronger emphasis on Hindu and folk elements. One of the most remarkable contributions of the Maurya period was its advancement in stone architecture and sculpture. Ashoka, a great patron of Buddhism, commissioned the construction of monumental pillars inscribed with edicts promoting Dharma, moral law. These Ashokan pillars, made of polished sandstone, stand as some of the earliest surviving examples of Indian monumental stone art. The most famous of these is the lion capital of Sarnath, which features 4 intricately carved lions standing back to back. This symbol, now India's national emblem, represents strength, unity, and the spread of Buddhist teachings. The Mauryan artisans also created highly polished stone sculptures, such as the figure of the Yaksha from Parkham, demonstrating a blend of royal and folk artistic influences. Rock-cut architecture also emerged during the Maurya period, particularly in the form of caves used as monastic dwellings. The Barabar and Nagarjuni caves in Bihar, with their precisely cut interiors and highly polished surfaces, were commissioned by Ashoka for the Ajivika sect. These caves represent some of the earliest examples of rock-cut architecture in India, setting the stage for later developments in Buddhist cave complexes such as Ajanta and Ellora. With the decline of the Maurya dynasty, the Shunga period, c. 185 to 73 BCE, saw a shift in artistic expression, moving away from the rigid grandeur of Mauryan art toward a more dynamic and indigenous style. The Shunga rulers, who were patrons of Hinduism, oversaw the construction of important religious structures, including the expansion of the Great Stupa at Sanchi. The Toranas, gateway carvings of Sanchi, which were added during the Shunga period, are adorned with intricate depictions of Jataka tales, stories of the Buddha's past lives, and lively human and animal figures. These carvings exhibit a more naturalistic approach compared to the formal style of Mauryan art. The Shunga period also witnessed the development of terracotta art, with small figurines depicting deities, animals, and everyday life. This artistic shift reflected a greater engagement with popular religious traditions, foreshadowing the later emergence of narrative sculpture in Indian temple art. Together, the Maurya and Shunga periods laid the foundation for the rich artistic heritage that would continue to evolve in subsequent centuries. Ashokan pillars and stupas. The reign of Emperor Ashoka, 268 to 232 BCE, marked a significant shift in Indian art and architecture, particularly through the construction of Ashokan pillars and stupas. These structures, built across the vast Mauryan Empire, served both religious and political purposes, reflecting Ashoka's commitment to Buddhism and his efforts to unify his diverse empire through shared cultural and moral values. Ashokan pillars are among the most distinctive architectural achievements of the Mauryan period. These monolithic columns, carved from a single piece of finely polished sandstone, were erected in various locations to disseminate Ashoka's edicts, which emphasized nonviolence, religious tolerance, and dharma, moral law. Each pillar stands between 40 and 50 feet high and is inscribed with messages in Brahmi script, written in the Prakrit language. The inscriptions provide valuable historical insights into Ashoka's governance and his promotion of Buddhist principles. The capitals of these pillars are adorned with elaborately carved animal figures, such as lions, elephants, and bulls, which symbolize strength, leadership, and spiritual awakening. The most famous of these is the lion capital of Sarnath, featuring 4 majestic lions seated back-to-back on a circular abacus decorated with dharma wheels and animal motifs. This capital, now the national emblem of India, represents the spread of Buddhism and the unity of Ashoka's empire. In addition to pillars, Ashoka played a crucial role in the construction and expansion of stupas, which became central to Buddhist religious architecture. Stupas are large, dome-shaped structures built to house sacred relics, such as the remains of the Buddha or other revered figures. Ashoka is credited with commissioning the construction of numerous stupas across his empire, many of which were later expanded and embellished in subsequent periods. The Great Stupa at Sanchi, one of the most well-preserved examples, was originally built under Ashoka and later enlarged during the Shunga period. The stupa features a massive hemispherical dome, symbolizing the cosmic order, and is surrounded by intricately carved toranas, gateway arches, that depict scenes from the Buddha's life and Jataka tales. These carvings, though created later, reflect the evolving artistic style and storytelling tradition of Buddhist art. Both Ashokan pillars and stupas played a vital role in spreading Buddhist teachings and unifying the empire under a shared spiritual and cultural identity. They also marked a transition in Indian architecture from temporary wooden structures to more enduring stone monuments. The legacy of these structures continues to influence Buddhist architecture across Asia, solidifying their place as some of the most significant contributions of the Mauryan era. Yaksha and Yakshi sculptures. The Yaksha and Yakshi sculptures of ancient India are among the earliest significant examples of large-scale stone statuary, reflecting the deep-rooted connection between art, religion, and nature in early Indian culture. These figures, associated with fertility, abundance, and protection, were worshipped across different religious traditions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The tradition of sculpting yakshas Male nature spirits, and yakshas, female counterparts, flourished during the Maurya and Shunga periods, c. 3rd to 1st century BCE, and influenced later Indian sculptural traditions. Yaksha sculptures are typically depicted as robust, powerful male figures with broad shoulders, round faces, and muscular torsos. They exude an aura of strength and authority, often standing in an erect posture with a dignified expression. One of the most famous examples is the Yaksha figure from Parkam, near Mathura, dating to the 2nd century BCE. This statue, carved from red sandstone, showcases the distinct Mauryan early Shunga style with its polished surface and massive proportions. Some Yaksha figures are also depicted holding money bags, reinforcing their association with wealth and prosperity. Their widespread presence at religious and secular sites suggests that they were revered as guardian deities and protectors of treasure troves, water bodies, and sacred groves. Yakshi sculptures, in contrast, emphasize grace, sensuality, and fertility. They are often depicted as voluptuous female figures with exaggerated curves, adorned with elaborate jewelry and intricate hairstyles. These sculptures embody the idealized beauty of the time, with their fluid postures and dynamic compositions. A well-known example is the Yakshi from the Didarganj region in Bihar, often referred to as the Didarganj Yakshi. This sandstone figure, dated to around the 3rd century BCE, is characterized by its polished finish and the Yakshi's elegant stance, with one hand holding a fly whisk. Another striking representation of Yakshis can be seen on the Toranas, gateways, of the Sanchi Stupa, where they appear as celestial beings clinging to trees, symbolizing fertility and nature's abundance. This depiction later became a recurring motif in Indian temple art. The presence of Yaksha and Yakshi sculptures in sacred spaces suggests that these deities were deeply integrated into early religious practices, even before the dominance of structured religious iconography in Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. Over time, their imagery merged into the visual lexicon of these religions, influencing representations of guardian deities, celestial beings, and even divine figures like Kubera, the god of wealth. The Yaksha and Yakshi sculptures serve as an important link between folk traditions and the evolution of classical Indian art. Their enduring appeal, rich symbolism, and aesthetic beauty make them vital components of India's sculptural heritage. Buddhist and Jain artistic expressions. The artistic traditions of Buddhism and Jainism played a crucial role in shaping early Indian art, leaving behind a rich legacy of sculptures, stupas, cave temples, and intricate carvings. Both religious traditions emphasize nonviolence, spiritual liberation, and ascetic ideals, but their artistic expressions developed in unique ways, reflecting their distinct philosophical and devotional needs. The Maurya, Shunga, Kushan, and Gupta periods saw the flourishing of Buddhist and Jain art, which later spread across Asia, influencing artistic traditions beyond India. Buddhist art initially emerged in the form of symbolic representations rather than direct depictions of the Buddha. During the early phase, particularly in the Mauryan and Shunga periods, Buddhist art relied on aniconic symbols such as the Bodhi tree, enlightenment, the wheel, Dharma, the stupa, nirvana, and the footprints of the Buddha. Stupas became central to Buddhist architecture, serving as reliquaries for sacred remains and sites of worship. The Great Stupa at Sanchi, originally commissioned by Ashoka and expanded during the Shunga period, exemplifies early Buddhist artistic expression with its intricately carved toranas, gateways, that narrate Jaka tales, stories of the Buddha's past lives, through elaborate reliefs. By the Kushan period, 1st to 3rd century CE, Buddhist art transitioned to anthropomorphic representations of the Buddha, influenced by the Gandhara and Mathura schools of art. The Gandhara school, inspired by Greco-Roman artistic styles, depicted the Buddha with flowing robes, wavy hair, and a serene expression. In contrast, the Mathura school, rooted in indigenous traditions, portrayed the Buddha with a more robust, idealized body and symbolic hand gestures, mudras. This period also saw the emergence of bodhisattva images, figures who delayed their enlightenment to guide others on the spiritual path. Jain artistic expression, like Buddhist art, emphasized the depiction of spiritual figures and sacred spaces. Jain art is known for its highly detailed iconography of the Tirthankaras, spiritual teachers in meditative postures, with elongated bodies and serene, expressionless faces, symbolizing detachment. Unlike Buddhist images, Jain Tirthankaras are often depicted without ornaments, reflecting their ascetic ideals. The earliest Jain sculptures, dating back to the Mauryan period, include the colossal statue of the Tirthankara from Lohanipur. Jain temples, such as the exquisitely carved Dilwara temples in Rajasthan, built between the 11th and 13th centuries, showcase the community's dedication to intricate stonework and geometric precision. Both Buddhist and Jain artistic traditions played a foundational role in shaping Indian sculpture, architecture, and narrative reliefs. While Buddhist art spread widely across Asia, Jain artistic traditions remain deeply rooted in the Indian subcontinent, preserving a distinctive aesthetic that continues to thrive in temple architecture and sculpture. Chapter 4: The Golden Age of Gupta Art. The Gupta period, c. 4th to 6th century CE, is often regarded as the Golden Age of Indian art, characterized by a refined and harmonious artistic style that laid the foundation for later developments in Indian sculpture, painting, and architecture. Under the patronage of Gupta rulers, art flourished across religious traditions, particularly in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. The period saw the emergence of an idealized aesthetic that balanced naturalism with spiritual symbolism, creating some of the most iconic masterpieces in Indian art history. One of the most defining features of Gupta art is the depiction of divine and human figures with grace, proportion, and serenity. Sculptures from this period exhibit a perfect blend of realism and idealism, with soft facial expressions, fluid drapery, and elegant postures. The images of Hindu deities such as Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi became more standardized, with well-defined iconographic attributes. A notable example is the Standing Buddha from Sarnath, which embodies the classical Gupta style with its smooth contours, downcast eyes, and subtle smile that conveys inner peace. This aesthetic became the model for Buddhist art in Southeast Asia and beyond. Gupta architecture also saw significant advancements, particularly in the construction of temples. The Gupta period marked the transition from rock-cut architecture to freestanding stone temples, setting the stage for the great temple-building traditions of medieval India. The Dashavatara temple at Deoghar, dedicated to Vishnu, is one of the earliest surviving examples of a shikara tower over the sanctum, a feature that would become a hallmark of North Indian temple architecture. The temple's intricately carved panels narrate stories from Hindu mythology, showcasing the Gupta mastery of sculptural relief. Painting flourished during this period as well, with the Ajanta caves preserving some of the finest surviving examples of Gupta-era murals. These Buddhist cave paintings depict scenes from the Jataka tales, illustrating the previous lives of the Buddha with remarkable detail and emotional depth. The soft modeling of figures, delicate use of shading, and vibrant color palettes reflect a sophisticated understanding of human expression and movement. Gupta coinage also reflected the artistic excellence of the period, featuring finely detailed images of kings and deities, often accompanied by inscriptions in Sanskrit. These coins provide valuable insights into the political and religious landscape of the time. The artistic achievements of the Gupta period had a lasting influence on Indian and Asian art. The refinement of sculptural techniques, the evolution of temple architecture, and the development of narrative painting during this era created a legacy that continued to shape Indian artistic traditions for centuries to come. Evolution of Hindu temple architecture. The evolution of Hindu temple architecture is a reflection of India's rich cultural and spiritual traditions, developing over centuries from simple shrines to grand, intricately designed structures. The Gupta period, 4th to 6th century CE, is considered a turning point in this evolution as it introduced key architectural elements that became the foundation for later temple styles. Over time, Two major styles of temple architecture emerged: the Nagara style of North India and the Dravida style of South India, each with distinctive characteristics. Early Hindu temples were simple structures made of wood, brick, or rock, with a small sanctum, garbhagriha, that housed the deity. The Gupta period marked the transition to stone-built temples and introduced essential architectural features such as the shikara, tower, and mandapa, pillared hall. The Dashavara temple at Deoghar, dedicated to Vishnu, is one of the earliest known temples with a tower-like structure above the sanctum, setting the stage for future developments. These early temples also featured sculptural panels depicting Hindu mythology, emphasizing narrative storytelling through art. As temple architecture evolved, regional styles became more distinct. The Nagara style, dominant in North India, is characterized by a beehive-shaped shikara, a square sanctum, and multiple mandapas arranged in a linear sequence. Temples such as the Kandarya Mahadev Temple at Khajuraho, 10th to 11th century CE, exemplify the mature Nagara style with their towering spires, ornate carvings, and erotic sculptures symbolizing divine union and cosmic energy. The Nagara style also includes subcategories such as the Latina, Shekari, and Bhumija types, each with variations in tower design and ornamentation. In South India, the Dravida style developed with distinct architectural elements such as the Vimana pyramidal tower, pillared halls, and massive gateway towers called gopurams. The early rock-cut temples of Mahabalipuram, 7th century CE, and the structural temples of the Chola dynasty, such as the Brihadiswara temple at Thanjavur, 11th century CE, represent the grandeur of Dravida architecture. The temples were often built as expansive complexes, with multiple shrines, water tanks, and elaborate corridors, reflecting the importance of temple worship in South Indian society. A third style, the Vasara style, emerged as a fusion of Nagara and Dravida elements in the Deccan region. The temples of the Chalukya and Hoysala dynasties, such as the Hoysalswara temple at Halabidu, showcase this blend with their star-shaped sanctums, intricately carved pillars, and richly ornamented exteriors. The evolution of Hindu temple architecture reflects not only artistic and structural advancements, but also the religious and social transformations of India. Temples became cultural centers, housing art, music, and dance, and their architectural brilliance continues to inspire awe and devotion to this day. Ajanta and Ellora cave paintings. The Ajanta and Ellora caves stand as remarkable testaments to India's rich artistic and religious heritage. These rock-cut cave complexes, located in Maharashtra, are celebrated for their exquisite paintings and sculptures, which provide a glimpse into the artistic, cultural, and spiritual life of ancient India. While the Ajanta caves are renowned for their vibrant murals depicting Buddhist themes, the Ellora caves showcase a fusion of Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain artistic traditions, highlighting the religious diversity of the period. The Ajanta caves, dating from the 2nd century BCE to the 5th to 6th century CE, were primarily created under the patronage of the Satavahana and Vakataka rulers. These caves, numbering around 30, are carved into a horseshoe-shaped cliff and served as monastic retreats for Buddhist monks. The paintings at Ajanta are among the finest surviving examples of ancient Indian art, illustrating episodes from the Jataka tales, which narrate the past lives of the Buddha. The murals depict scenes of compassion, devotion, and moral teachings with remarkable skill, using natural pigments and intricate shading techniques to create depth and realism. Figures are rendered with graceful expressions, flowing garments, and delicate gestures, demonstrating an advanced understanding of human form and emotion. The famous Bodhisattva Padmapani painting in Cave 1 exemplifies the mastery of Ajanta artists, capturing a sense of serenity and spiritual radiance. In contrast, the Ellora caves, constructed between the 6th and 10th century CE, represent a confluence of three major religious traditions: Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. Unlike Ajanta, which is primarily known for its paintings, Ellora is famous for its monumental rock-cut architecture and sculptural grandeur. The Hindu caves, particularly the Kailasa Temple, Cave 16, are an extraordinary achievement in rock excavation, carved from a single rock to resemble a freestanding temple. The Buddhist caves feature large, intricately sculpted prayer halls and monastic cells, while the Jain caves are known for their detailed carvings and emphasis on ascetic themes. Though Ellora has fewer surviving murals compared to Ajanta, traces of paintings in some caves suggest that they once had richly adorned interiors. The artistic techniques employed at Ajanta and Ellora reveal a sophisticated use of perspective, naturalism, and narrative composition. The paintings at Ajanta, in particular, influenced later Indian and Southeast Asian artistic traditions, setting a standard for mural art in temple and palace interiors. These caves remain UNESCO World Heritage Sites, attracting scholars, artists, and visitors from around the world, offering an enduring legacy of India's artistic brilliance and spiritual devotion. Classical sculptures of the Gupta era. The Gupta period, 4th to 6th century CE, is widely regarded as the golden age of Indian art, and its sculptures exemplify a refined aesthetic that balanced idealized beauty with spiritual depth. During this time, Indian sculpture evolved into a distinct classical style characterized by graceful proportions, serene facial expressions, and intricate detailing. Influenced by religious traditions, particularly Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, Gupta-era sculptures played a crucial role in shaping the visual language of Indian art for centuries to come. One of the most remarkable features of Gupta sculptures is their sense of harmony and naturalism. Unlike the earlier, more rigid forms of the Maurya and Kushan periods, Gupta sculptures exhibit fluidity in posture and a softness in facial features. The figures are often depicted with slender, well-proportioned bodies, slightly bent in the Tribhanga, triple bend posture, which conveys movement and elegance. Their expressions are calm and meditative, reflecting spiritual transcendence rather than mere physical beauty. Buddhist sculptures from this period, especially those from Sarnath and Mathura, showcase the classic Gupta style. The standing and seated Buddha figures from Sarnath are among the most iconic representations, featuring elongated limbs, finely carved drapery, and a gentle, introspective smile. Unlike earlier Gandhara Buddhas, which were influenced by Greco-Roman art, the Gupta Buddhas emphasize spiritual presence over physical realism. The absence of excessive ornamentation and the smooth, flowing robes create an impression of purity and divine radiance. Hindu sculptures also flourished during the Gupta era, with deities like Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi receiving highly stylized and symbolic representations. One of the most famous examples is the Udayagiri Varaha panel, depicting Vishnu's boar incarnation lifting the earth goddess from the cosmic ocean. This massive relief, carved directly into a rock face, demonstrates the Gupta sculptor's ability to convey dynamic movement and narrative depth. Another significant piece is the Ekamukha Shiva Linga, one-faced Shiva, from Mathura, where the deity's serene face emerges from a cylindrical form, symbolizing the infinite nature of Shiva. Jain sculptures from the Gupta period also reflect the same refinement, often portraying Tirthankaras in meditative postures with highly polished surfaces. The sculptures maintain the minimalist aesthetic of Jain religious ideals, with little ornamentation and a focus on ascetic purity. The classical style of Gupta sculpture set a lasting precedent for later artistic traditions in India and beyond. Its emphasis on idealized beauty, spiritual grace, and balanced proportions influenced temple art, stone carvings, and bronzes across South and Southeast Asia, cementing the Gupta era as a defining moment in the history of Indian sculpture. Chapter 5: Medieval Indian Art and Architecture. The medieval period of Indian art and architecture, 7th to 17th century CE, witnessed remarkable developments driven by the patronage of powerful dynasties such as the Cholas, Pallavas, Rajputs, and later the Delhi Sultanate and Mughal Empire. This era saw the expansion of temple architecture, advancements in sculptural techniques, and the introduction of Indo-Islamic artistic traditions, leading to a dynamic fusion of styles that shaped India's architectural and artistic landscape. In South India, the Chola dynasty, 9th–13th century CE, played a crucial role in the evolution of Dravidian temple architecture. The Bridiswarar temple at Thanjavur, built by Rajaraja Chola I in the 11th century, is a masterpiece of this period. Featuring a towering Vimana temple tower, intricate carvings, and grand pillared halls, it exemplifies the sophistication of Chola architectural design. The Cholas were also known for their exquisite bronze sculptures, particularly of Hindu deities like Nataraja, Shiva as the cosmic dancer, which displayed a perfect balance between movement and divinity. In North India, the Rajput kingdoms patronized the Nagara style of temple architecture. Temples such as the Kandarya Mahadev Temple in Khajuraho, built by the Chandela rulers in the 10th–11th century, represent the pinnacle of this style, adorned with detailed carvings of gods, celestial beings, and symbolic erotic sculptures that celebrate divine creation and cosmic energy. The Sun Temple at Konark, built in the 13th century, is another striking example, designed in the form of a colossal chariot with elaborately sculpted wheels and horses. The arrival of Islamic rule in India introduced new artistic influences, leading to the emergence of Indo-Islamic architecture. The Delhi Sultanate, 13th to 16th century, constructed iconic structures such as the Qutub Minar, a towering minaret built from red sandstone and marble, and the Alai Darwaza, which showcased intricate geometric and arabesque patterns, calligraphy, and domes. Unlike Hindu temples, which were adorned with figurative sculptures, Islamic architecture emphasized symmetry, intricate tile work, and ornamental inscriptions. The Mughal era, 16th to 18th century, marked the zenith of medieval Indian architecture, blending Persian, Turkish, and Indian styles into a distinct aesthetic. Monumental structures like Humayun's tomb, the Jama Masjid, and the Taj Mahal exemplify the grandeur and refinement of Mughal artistry. The Taj Mahal, commissioned by Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal, is particularly renowned for its white marble facade, inlay work of semi-precious stones, and harmonious proportions. Mughal miniature paintings also flourished, depicting courtly life, mythology, and nature with exquisite detailing. Medieval Indian art and architecture reflect the cultural diversity and artistic ingenuity of the time. From grand temples to magnificent forts and palaces, the period's artistic achievements laid the groundwork for India's architectural heritage, influencing styles well into the modern era. Chola bronzes and South Indian temple art. The Chola dynasty, 9th–13th century CE, is celebrated for its contributions to South Indian temple architecture and its exquisite bronze sculptures. Under Chola patronage, art flourished, blending devotion with masterful craftsmanship to create some of the most iconic representations of Hindu deities. The temples built during this period became grander, featuring intricate carvings, towering vimanas, temple towers, and extensive use of sculptures to narrate religious stories. Alongside these architectural marvels, the Cholas perfected the lost wax casting technique, producing stunning bronze idols that remain unparalleled in elegance and symbolism. Chola bronzes, particularly the depictions of Hindu gods and goddesses, exemplify a harmonious blend of realism, grace, and divine expression. Among the most renowned is the Nataraj, or the cosmic dance of Shiva. The Chola Nataraja portrays Shiva dancing within a flaming aureole, with one foot raised and the other crushing the demon Apasmara, symbolizing ignorance. His multiple arms hold symbolic objects, while his serene expression embodies the balance between destruction and creation. These bronze sculptures were not merely artistic expressions, but were also objects of worship, carried in temple processions and draped in fine fabrics and jewels. The temples of the Chola period, such as the Bridiswarar temple at Thanjavur, exemplify the grandeur of South Indian temple architecture. Built by Rajaraja Chola I in the 11th century, this temple features a massive vimana that rises 216 feet, making it one of the tallest temple towers of its time. The structure is adorned with intricate carvings depicting mythological tales, celestial beings, and various forms of Shiva. The temple complex also houses a massive monolithic Nandi, Shiva's sacred bull, carved from a single stone, reflecting the Chola's expertise in large-scale sculptural work. Another hallmark of South Indian temple art is the use of elaborate mandapas, pillared halls, gopurams, gateway towers, and intricately sculpted temple walls. The sculptures often depict stories from Hindu epics such as the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as intricate representations of gods, goddesses, and celestial dancers. The Cholas also pioneered the concept of temple inscriptions, detailing temple rituals, donations, and historical events, providing invaluable records of the period. The artistic and architectural achievements of the Cholas left a lasting legacy, influencing temple designs across South India and beyond. The tradition of bronze casting continued in later centuries, with artisans preserving the lost wax technique to create devotional icons. Even today, Chola bronzes are revered for their spiritual significance and artistic brilliance, standing as timeless masterpieces of Indian craftsmanship. Rajput and Pala miniature paintings. Rajput and Pala miniature paintings represent two distinct yet significant artistic traditions that flourished in medieval India. While Pala paintings, 8th–12th century CE, were rooted in Buddhist traditions of Eastern India, Rajput paintings, 16th to 19th century CE, reflected the vibrant cultural and religious life of the princely states of Rajasthan and the Himalayan regions. Both styles exhibit meticulous detailing, vivid colors, and a deep connection to spirituality, mythology, and nature. The Pala school of miniature painting developed in Bengal and Bihar under the patronage of the Pala dynasty, which was a strong supporter of Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism. These paintings, primarily executed on palm leaf manuscripts, depicted Buddhist deities, bodhisattvas, and scenes from sacred texts such as the Prajnaparamita and Jataka tales. Pala miniatures are characterized by their fluid lines, delicate brushwork, and earthy tones, with a focus on elegance and spiritual expression. Figures are often shown in dynamic poses, adorned with intricate jewelry and elaborate garments, exuding a sense of divine grace. The influence of Pala art extended beyond India, particularly to Nepal, Tibet, and Southeast Asia, where it contributed to Buddhist artistic traditions. Rajput miniature paintings, on the other hand, flourished in the royal courts of Rajasthan from the 16th century onward, blending indigenous artistic traditions with Mughal influences. These paintings were typically created on paper using natural pigments and were often commissioned by Rajput rulers to illustrate religious epics, love stories, and royal life. The Rajput school is further divided into several regional styles, including Mewar, Bundi, Kishangar, and Marwar, each with distinct characteristics. Rajput paintings are known for their bright colors, strong lines, and stylized depictions of figures, often set against lush landscapes and elaborate architectural backdrops. The themes ranged from Hindu mythology, particularly scenes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, to depictions of Krishna's life, as seen in the famous Radha Krishna series of Kishangar. The Mewar school emphasized bold compositions and rich storytelling, while the Bundi style was celebrated for its dreamlike quality, with soft color palettes and intricate details of nature. Both Pala and Rajput miniature paintings played a crucial role in preserving and visualizing religious and literary traditions. While Pala paintings contributed to the spread of Buddhist art across Asia, Rajput miniatures provided a vivid artistic expression of Hindu devotion, courtly grandeur, and poetic imagination. These traditions continue to inspire modern Indian art, maintaining their significance as cultural and historical treasures. Islamic influences in Indian art. The arrival of Islam in India, beginning with the Delhi Sultanate in the 12th century and later flourishing under the Mughal Empire, introduced a rich artistic tradition that profoundly shaped Indian art and architecture. Islamic influences merged with indigenous styles, resulting in a unique Indo-Islamic aesthetic that blended Persian, Central Asian, and Indian elements. This influence extended across architecture, painting, decorative arts, and textiles, leaving a lasting impact on India's artistic heritage. One of the most significant contributions of Islamic art in India was the emphasis on geometric patterns, calligraphy, and arabesque motifs, replacing the figurative depictions that were dominant in Hindu and Buddhist traditions. Since Islamic art traditionally avoided anthropomorphic representations, it focused on intricate floral and geometric designs, often inscribed with verses from the Quran. These motifs were extensively used in architecture, manuscript illumination, and decorative objects, creating visually stunning compositions that conveyed both beauty and spirituality. Architecture was the most prominent medium through which Islamic art left its mark. The Delhi Sultanate introduced new construction techniques, such as the use of domes, arches, and minarets, seen in structures like the Qutub Minar and the Alai Darwaza. The Mughal emperors later refined this style, integrating Persian and Indian elements to create some of India's most iconic monuments. Akbar's architectural projects, such as Fatehpur Sikri, showcased an elegant fusion of Rajput and Persian styles, while Shah Jahan's Taj Mahal remains a pinnacle of Indo-Islamic architecture, celebrated for its symmetrical design, marble inlay work, and exquisite calligraphy. Islamic influences also extended to miniature painting, particularly under the Mughals, who patronized a distinctive school of art blending Persian techniques with Indian themes. Mughal miniatures, developed during the reigns of Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan, featured naturalistic portrayals of court life, hunting scenes, and historical narratives. The use of perspective, vibrant color palettes, and fine detailing set Mughal painting apart from earlier traditions. These artistic innovations influenced the Rajput and Deccan miniature styles, leading to a cross-cultural exchange of artistic ideas. Beyond architecture and painting, Islamic influence was evident in textiles, metalwork, and ceramics. Intricate carpet weaving, luxurious brocades, and inlaid metal artifacts became highly sought after, reflecting a fusion of Persian and Indian craftsmanship. The introduction of blue and white ceramic styles, inspired by Persian and Chinese pottery, further enriched India's artistic landscape. The Indo-Islamic artistic tradition represents a remarkable synthesis of cultures, demonstrating how Islamic aesthetics seamlessly integrated with India's diverse artistic heritage. This fusion not only defined medieval Indian art, but also continued to inspire artistic expressions in subsequent centuries, shaping India's visual and architectural identity. Chapter 6: The Mughal and Deccan Schools of Art. The Mughal and Deccan schools of art emerged as two of the most refined artistic traditions in medieval India, flourishing under royal patronage from the 16th to the 18th centuries. While both were influenced by Persian artistic traditions, they developed distinct characteristics that reflected the unique cultural and political environments of their respective regions. The Mughal school, centered in North India, was known for its realism, intricate detailing, and grandeur, whereas the Deccan school, rooted in the courts of the Deccan Sultanates, displayed a more decorative and imaginative approach, blending Persian, Indian, and even European elements. The Mughal school of art reached its zenith under Emperor Akbar, who established royal ateliers and invited artists from Persia and India to work together. This fusion led to a highly sophisticated style characterized by fine brushwork, vibrant colors, and an emphasis on depth and perspective. Mughal miniatures often depicted historical events, courtly life, hunting scenes, and portraits of emperors with remarkable realism. Under Jahangir, the school evolved further, emphasizing naturalistic depictions of flora, fauna, and portraiture with intricate shading and three-dimensionality. Shah Jahan's reign saw the refinement of the style, often focusing on themes of romance, poetry, and architectural grandeur, mirroring the opulence of the Taj Mahal. In contrast, the Deccan school of art flourished in the courts of the Deccan Sultanates, including Bijapur, Golconda, and Ahmednagar. Unlike the formal realism of Mughal paintings, Deccan miniatures were characterized by their dreamlike compositions, bold color schemes, and highly decorative elements. Figures were often elongated with exaggerated features, set against fantastical landscapes with rich golden backgrounds. The influence of Persian and Turkish traditions is evident in the intricate detailing and ornamental designs, while European elements, such as the use of perspective and shading, made their way into Deccan paintings through trade and diplomatic interactions. One of the most famous examples of Deccan art is the portrait of Sultan Muhammad Adil Shah of Bijapur, which showcases the signature style of exaggerated proportions and lavish ornamentation. Another striking example is the Ragamala series, which depicts musical modes personified as human figures, blending artistic imagination with poetic expression. Deccan paintings also so frequently incorporated elements of Hindu mythology, showcasing a unique syncretism rarely seen in Mughal works. The Mughal and Deccan schools of art, though distinct, contributed immensely to the evolution of Indian painting and aesthetics. Their influence extended beyond their respective regions, shaping later artistic traditions, including Rajput miniatures and colonial-era Indian art. Today, these masterpieces continue to be celebrated for their exquisite craftsmanship and cultural significance, preserving the artistic legacy of medieval India. Mughal miniature paintings and court art. Mughal miniature paintings represent one of the most refined artistic traditions of medieval India, flourishing under the patronage of the Mughal emperors from the 16th to the 18th centuries. Developed as a fusion of Persian, Indian, and Central Asian influences, Mughal miniatures were characterized by their intricate detailing, vibrant colors, and realistic portrayals of courtly life, historical events, and nature. These paintings were typically produced in royal ateliers by highly skilled artists who specialized in different aspects of the artwork, such as outlining, coloring, and detailing. The foundation of the Mughal school of miniature painting was laid during the reign of Emperor Akbar, who invited Persian artists to his court while encouraging indigenous Indian artists to contribute their own styles. Akbar's atelier produced illustrated manuscripts of Persian and Indian epics, including the Hamza-Nama, which depicted the legendary adventures of Amir Hamza. These paintings introduced bold compositions, dynamic figures, and expressive gestures, setting the foundation for Mughal artistic traditions. Under Emperor Jahangir, Mughal miniature painting reached new heights, with a strong emphasis on naturalism and portraiture. Jahangir had a deep appreciation for art and commissioned highly detailed portraits of himself, courtiers, and foreign dignitaries. The level of precision in these paintings was remarkable, with artists paying close attention to facial expressions, fabric textures, and even individual strands of hair. Jahangir also encouraged the depiction of flora and fauna, leading to exquisite botanical and zoological illustrations that showcased the Mughal artist's observational skills. During the reign of Shah Jahan, the Mughal miniature style became even more refined, reflecting the grandeur of the imperial court. Paintings from this period often depicted scenes of courtly leisure, royal processions and celebrations, rendered with soft color palettes and highly detailed ornamentation. The emphasis on architectural elements in these miniatures paralleled the development of Mughal architecture, particularly the grandeur of the Taj Mahal. The later Mughal period under Aurangzeb, however, saw a decline in royal patronage for the arts, leading to the gradual fading of the imperial atelier. Apart from historical narratives and portraits, Mughal miniatures also illustrated literary works, such as the Razmnama, a Persian translation of the Mahabharata, and the Pacha-Nama, a chronicle of Shah Jahan's reign. These works combined storytelling with intricate artistry, reflecting the Mughal interest in blending cultural traditions. The influence of Mughal miniature paintings extended beyond the empire, inspiring Rajput and Deccan schools of art. Today, these exquisite miniatures remain celebrated for their artistic brilliance, serving as invaluable records of Mughal culture, politics, and aesthetics. Deccan Sultanate architecture and paintings. The Deccan Sultanates, which ruled over parts of South and Central India between the 14th and 17th centuries, developed a unique artistic and architectural style that blended Persian, Turkish, and indigenous Indian influences. The five main sultanates, Bijapur, Golconda, Ahmadnagar, Bidar, and Berar, each contributed to the rich cultural landscape of the Deccan, leaving behind monumental structures and exquisite paintings that reflected their cosmopolitan outlook and artistic innovation. Deccan Sultanate architecture is distinguished by its use of domes, arches, intricate stucco decorations, and expansive courtyards. The rulers adapted Persian and Central Asian architectural traditions to suit the Indian environment, incorporating elements such as vaulted ceilings, ornate minarets, and geometric tile work. One of the most famous architectural achievements of this period is the Gol Gumbaz in Bijapur, built by Sultan Muhammad Adil Shah in the 17th century. This grand mausoleum features one of the largest domes in the world, supported by an innovative system of pendentives. The structure is also known for its whispering gallery, where even the slightest sound echoes multiple times. Another significant example is the Charminar in Hyderabad, built by Sultan Muhammad Quli Qutb Shah of Golconda. This iconic structure, with its four grand minarets and intricate stucco work, served as a ceremonial gateway and remains one of India's most recognizable monuments. The Qutb Shahi tombs in Hyderabad further showcase the grandeur of Deccan architecture, combining Persian-style domes with Hindu temple-like ornamentation. The painting tradition of the Deccan Sultanates flourished in the royal courts, particularly in Bijapur and Golconda. Deccan miniatures are characterized by their vibrant colors, intricate detailing, and dreamlike compositions. Unlike the naturalism of Mughal paintings, Deccan miniatures embraced a more stylized approach, featuring elongated figures, exaggerated facial features, and decorative backgrounds filled with lush flora and fantastical elements. The influence of Persian art is evident in the use of rich gold backgrounds, while European artistic techniques, such as shading and perspective, were also incorporated due to trade and diplomatic interactions with the Portuguese and Dutch. One of the most celebrated examples of Deccan painting is the portrait of Sultan Ibrahim Adil Shah II of Bijapur, depicted as a poet-musician surrounded by celestial beings. Another remarkable work is the Ragamala series from Golconda, which portrays musical modes personified as human figures, blending artistic imagination with poetic and musical themes. The artistic and architectural achievements of the Deccan Sultanates remain an important part of India's cultural heritage, reflecting a synthesis of diverse traditions. Their legacy continues to inspire contemporary artists and historians, preserving the distinct identity of Deccan art and architecture. Persian influences and fusion styles. Persian influences played a pivotal role in shaping Indian art and architecture, particularly during the medieval period when Islamic dynasties established their rule in the subcontinent. These influences were introduced through cultural exchanges with Persia, Central Asia, and the Middle East, leading to a fusion of artistic traditions that blended Persian aesthetics with indigenous Indian elements. This synthesis resulted in distinctive styles in architecture, miniature painting, and decorative arts, creating a rich and diverse artistic heritage. One of the most prominent areas where Persian influence is evident is in Indo-Islamic architecture. The introduction of domes, iwans, vaulted halls, pointed arches, and intricate geometric patterns transformed Indian architectural traditions. The Mughal emperors, in particular, heavily borrowed from Persian styles while integrating Indian motifs. The use of charbagh, four-part garden layouts, seen in structures such as Humayun's tomb and the Taj Mahal, is directly derived from Persian landscape design. Delicate floral inlay work, inspired by Persian tile work and calligraphy, became a hallmark of Mughal buildings, blending seamlessly with traditional Indian craftsmanship. Persian aesthetics also significantly shaped Indian miniature painting, particularly during the Mughal era. When Emperor Humayun returned from exile in Persia, he brought with him Persian artists who helped establish the Mughal school of painting. Persian miniature techniques, including the use of fine lines, soft color palettes, and detailed ornamentation, merged with Indian themes and storytelling traditions. Under Akbar's rule, Mughal miniatures began incorporating elements of realism, perspective, and vibrant compositions, distinguishing them from their Persian counterparts, which were more stylized and decorative. Later, during the reigns of Jahangir and Shah Jahan, Mughal painters refined portraiture and naturalistic studies, further enhancing the Indo-Persian fusion. Fusion styles also extended to textile design, ceramics, and metalwork. Persian motifs such as arabesque, floral patterns, and intricate latticework became popular in Indian textiles, particularly in Kashmiri carpets and brocades. The famed Bidri ware of the Deccan Sultanates, a unique form of metal inlay work, reflects a blend of Persian and Indian techniques, featuring geometric and floral designs inspired by Persian aesthetics. This artistic synthesis between Persian and Indian traditions did not result in mere imitation, but rather in a dynamic evolution of style, where each culture influenced and enriched the other. The Indo-Persian fusion remains a defining feature of Indian art, architecture, and craftsmanship, illustrating the cultural exchanges that shape the subcontinent's artistic legacy. Today, these influences continue to inspire contemporary artists and designers, preserving the spirit of cross-cultural creativity that defined medieval India. Chapter 7: Colonial Encounters and Artistic Transformations. The arrival of European colonial powers in India, beginning with the Portuguese in the 16th century and culminating in British rule, brought significant changes to Indian art and aesthetics. These encounters introduced new materials, techniques, and artistic sensibilities, while simultaneously disrupting traditional artistic practices. The colonial period saw a complex interplay between indigenous traditions and Western influences, leading to the emergence of hybrid artistic styles that reflected both resistance and adaptation. One of the most profound transformations occurred in painting. The decline of royal patronage for traditional miniature schools under British rule led many Indian artists to adopt Western academic realism. The British introduced oil painting, perspective drawing, and portraiture influenced by European classical styles. The company school, a distinctive genre of painting that emerged in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, exemplified this fusion. Indian artists, employed by British officials and merchants, created detailed illustrations of flora, fauna, and Indian life using European shading and perspective techniques, while retaining elements of indigenous stylization. The Bengal School of Art, founded in the early 20th century as part of the nationalist movement, sought to revive and reassert Indian artistic identity in opposition to Western academic realism. Led by Abanindranath Tagore, the Bengal school drew inspiration from Mughal miniatures, Ajanta paintings, and Japanese wash techniques, fostering a distinctly Indian modernist movement. This artistic revival was closely tied to the Swadeshi movement, reflecting India's cultural self-awareness and resistance to colonial dominance. Colonial rule also impacted Indian architecture, as European styles such as Gothic, Baroque, and Neoclassical were incorporated into urban design. The British built grand colonial structures, such as the Victoria Memorial in Kolkata and the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi, blending European architectural principles with Indian elements. The Indo-Saracenic style, which combined Mughal, Rajput, and Gothic features, became popular in public buildings, railway stations, and educational institutions, symbolizing British authority while acknowledging India's rich architectural heritage. The colonial period also saw significant changes in the patronage and purpose of art. Traditional crafts such as textile weaving, metalwork, and wood carving suffered due to industrialization and British economic policies that favored mass-produced goods. However, movements such as the arts and crafts revival, led by figures like Rabindranath Tagore and E.B. Havell, sought to preserve and reinvigorate indigenous handicrafts as a form of cultural resistance. The colonial encounter ultimately reshaped Indian art, introducing new mediums and perspectives while inspiring a renewed appreciation for indigenous traditions. The fusion of Indian and Western elements laid the foundation for modern Indian art, setting the stage for further artistic experimentation in the post-independence era. European influences on Indian art. The arrival of European powers in India, beginning with the Portuguese in the 16th century and culminating in British colonial rule, profoundly influenced Indian art. This interaction introduced new materials, techniques, and artistic styles that gradually transformed traditional Indian aesthetics. While some Indian artists adapted European artistic conventions, others sought to resist and reinterpret them, leading to a unique fusion of Indian and Western elements. One of the most significant changes was the introduction of Western-style realism and perspective in painting. Unlike traditional Indian miniatures, which emphasized flat compositions and intricate detailing, European art focused on three-dimensionality, naturalism, and depth. The British introduced oil painting, replacing the indigenous use of tempera and natural pigments. European techniques such as chiaroscuro, the use of light and shadow, and linear perspective began to influence Indian artists, particularly those working for British patrons. This led to the emergence of the company school of painting, where Indian artists depicted landscapes, flora, fauna, and daily life, using Western shading and perspective while maintaining some indigenous stylization. Portraiture also gained prominence under European influence. While Indian art traditionally focused on stylized representations of deities and royalty, British patronage encouraged the creation of lifelike portraits of Indian rulers and British officials. The works of artists like Raja Ravi Varma in the 19th century exemplified this shift. Varma combined European techniques of oil painting and naturalism with Indian mythological themes, making his art widely popular among both colonial and Indian audiences. His works marked a turning point in Indian art, bridging the gap between classical traditions and modern aesthetics. European architectural styles also left a lasting impact on India. The British introduced neoclassical, Gothic, and Baroque styles, which influenced the design of churches, government buildings, and railway stations. However, rather than completely displacing Indian architectural traditions, the British developed the Indo-Saracenic style, which blended European elements with Mughal and Rajput motifs. Buildings such as the Victoria Memorial in Kolkata and the Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus in Mumbai reflect this synthesis, incorporating domes, arches, and intricate carvings alongside Western structural designs. Beyond painting and architecture, European influences extended to decorative arts and textiles. Indian artisans adapted Western motifs into traditional crafts, creating hybrid designs in textiles, pottery, and furniture. However, British industrial policies also led to the decline of traditional handicrafts, as machine-made European goods flooded Indian markets. Despite these changes, Indian artists and architects did not merely imitate European styles. They reinterpreted them in a way that preserved Indian identity. The fusion of European techniques with indigenous themes laid the groundwork for modern Indian art, influencing generations of artists and shaping India's artistic evolution in the 20th century. The Bengal School of Art. The Bengal School of Art emerged in the early 20th century as a nationalist movement aimed at reviving Indian artistic traditions and rejecting the dominance of Western academic realism introduced during British rule. Led by artists such as Abanindranath Tagore, Nandalal Bose, and Ashit Kumar Haldar, the movement sought to create an indigenous artistic identity that was deeply rooted in Indian history, mythology, and spirituality. It became a crucial part of the larger Swadeshi movement, which encouraged cultural and economic self-reliance as a means of resisting colonial rule. One of the defining features of the Bengal school was its rejection of oil painting and Western-style realism in favor of traditional Indian techniques. Inspired by Mughal miniatures, Ajanta cave paintings, and Japanese wash techniques, Bengal school artists used delicate brushwork, muted color palettes, and fluid lines to evoke a sense of grace and lyricism. Unlike the dramatic chiaroscuro and rigid realism of European academic painting, Bengal school works emphasize soft shading, ethereal compositions, and emotional depth. Abanindranath Tagore, often regarded as the father of the Bengal school, played a crucial role in shaping its philosophy and aesthetic. His famous painting, Bharat Mata, Mother India, became an iconic symbol of Indian nationalism, portraying India as a serene and divine figure, holding symbols of learning, food, and strength. His works, such as The Passing of Shah Jahan and Krishna Lila, drew upon historical and religious themes, emphasizing an idealized vision of India's past. Nandalal Bose, another prominent figure in the movement, further expanded the Bengal school's reach by integrating folk art and temple mural traditions into his work. He was deeply influenced by Gandhian ideals and created paintings that celebrated rural life, Indian mythology, and the spirit of self-reliance. His illustrations for the Constitution of India remain one of his most significant contributions to Indian art. The Bengal school also had a lasting impact on art education in India. Under the guidance of E.B. Havell, who supported the movement as the principal of the Government School of Art in Calcutta, Indian art education moved away from its European academic focus and embraced indigenous artistic traditions. The movement found institutional support at institutions like Kala Bhavana in Santiniketan, which became a center for modern Indian art. Although the Bengal school declined in prominence with the rise of modernist movements in the mid-20th century, its influence on Indian art remains profound. It played a crucial role in reviving India's artistic heritage, shaping the identity of modern Indian painting, and inspiring generations of artists to explore indigenous styles and themes. Early modern Indian artists. The early modern period in Indian art, spanning the late 19th and early 20th centuries, marked a significant transition from traditional forms to contemporary expressions influenced by nationalism, colonial encounters, and global artistic movements. This era saw the emergence of pioneering artists who redefined Indian art by blending indigenous traditions with modern techniques, laying the foundation for the evolution of modern Indian painting. One of the most influential figures of this period was Raja Ravi Varma, who is often credited with introducing oil painting and Western academic realism to Indian art. Varma's paintings combined European techniques of perspective and shading with Indian mythological themes, making his work highly accessible to the public. His depictions of Hindu deities and epic scenes, such as those from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, became immensely popular and were widely reproduced in lithographs, making religious and cultural iconography more accessible to the masses. Despite criticism from purists who viewed his style as too westernized, Varma's work played a crucial role in shaping modern Indian visual culture. Another key artist of this period was Abanindranath Tagore, the founder of the Bengal School of Art. Rejecting European realism, Tagore sought to revive traditional Indian artistic styles inspired by Mughal miniatures, Ajanta frescoes, and Japanese wash techniques. His works, such as Bharat Mata and The Passing of Shah Jahan, embodied a romanticized vision of India's cultural heritage and became symbols of nationalist pride. Through his leadership, the Bengal school played a vital role in establishing an indigenous artistic identity during the freedom movement. Nandalal Bose, a disciple of Tagore, further developed the Bengal school's aesthetic while incorporating elements of folk and tribal art. Deeply influenced by Mahatma Gandhi and the Swadeshi movement, Bose's works often depicted rural life, Indian mythology, and historical themes. His contributions extended beyond painting, as he was also responsible for illustrating the original manuscript of the Indian Constitution, blending traditional motifs with modernist sensibilities. Amrita Shergill, often regarded as one of India's first modernist painters, brought a distinctly different approach to Indian art. Trained in Europe, she combined Western post-impressionist techniques with Indian themes, particularly in her portrayals of rural and marginalized communities. Her works, such as Three Girls and Bride's Toilet, captured the essence of Indian village life with a sensitivity and depth that challenged conventional representations. These early modern artists paved the way for a new era of Indian art blending tradition with modernity and inspiring future generations to explore new artistic expressions. Their legacy continues to influence contemporary Indian art, shaping its identity in a rapidly changing world. Chapter 8: Modern and Contemporary Indian Art. The evolution of Indian art in the 20th and 21st centuries reflects the country's dynamic social, political, and cultural landscape. As India moved from colonial rule to independence and beyond, its art transformed, incorporating diverse influences while asserting a unique modern identity. The transition from traditional styles to experimental forms marked the emergence of modern and contemporary Indian art, with artists exploring new materials, techniques, and themes. The foundations of modern Indian art were laid in the early 20th century by artists such as Rabindranath Tagore, Nandalal Bose, and Amrita Shergill. They sought to break away from both European academic realism and the revivalist tendencies of the Bengal school, forging a new artistic language that blended indigenous traditions with global modernist influences. Shergill, in particular, played a crucial role in this shift, as her works combined post-impressionist techniques with Indian subjects, capturing the lives of rural women and the struggles of the marginalized. Post-independence, Indian art witnessed a radical transformation with the establishment of the Progressive Artists Group, PAG, in 1947. Led by artists such as M.F. Hussain, F.N. Souza, S.H. Raza, and Tayyab Mehta, the PAG rejected both colonial academic art and nationalist revivalism, embracing abstraction, expressionism, and surrealism. Their works depicted themes of identity, partition, urbanization, and the complexities of modern Indian society. Hussain, often called the Picasso of India, used bold lines and vibrant colors to depict Indian mythology and contemporary themes in a modernist style, while Raza's abstract works focused on geometric forms and spiritual symbolism. The late 20th century saw the expansion of Indian art into new mediums, including installation art, digital media, and performance art. Artists like Nalini Malani, Bhupen Kakar, and Vivan Sundaram addressed themes of gender, sexuality, history, and globalization in their works, challenging societal norms and engaging with contemporary socio-political issues. Malani's multimedia installations, for instance, incorporated feminist and anti-war themes, while Kakar's paintings explored homosexuality and middle-class life in India with an ironic yet poignant touch. In the 21st century, Indian contemporary art has gained international recognition, with artists such as Subodh Gupta, Anish Kapoor, and Jatish Kalat pushing the boundaries of artistic expression. Gupta's large-scale installations, made from everyday objects like utensils and tiffin boxes, explore globalization and consumer culture, while Kapoor's sculptural works play with space, form, and perception. The contemporary art scene in India is vibrant and diverse, reflecting issues of migration, environmental concerns, and digital transformations. Modern and contemporary Indian art continues to evolve, embracing new ideas and technologies while staying rooted in the country's rich artistic traditions. It remains a powerful medium of cultural expression, bridging the past and the future in an ever-changing world. The Progressive Artists Group. The Progressive Artists Group, PAG, was a groundbreaking collective of modern Indian artists formed in 1947, the same year India gained independence. It emerged as a response to the rigid academic art promoted during British rule and the nationalist revivalism of the Bengal school. The group sought to create a bold and contemporary artistic language that reflected the complexities of a newly independent India. Founded in Bombay, now Mumbai, by 6 artists, M.F. Hussain, F.N. Souza, S.H. Raza, K.H. Ara, H.A. Gade, and S.K. Bakre, the PAG became a defining force in shaping modern Indian art. The PAG artists drew inspiration from a wide range of global art movements, including European modernism, Cubism, Expressionism, and Surrealism. They rejected both colonial academic realism and the overly sentimental style of the Bengal school, instead emphasizing individual expression, abstraction, and experimentation with form and color. Their works explored themes such as urbanization, partition, violence, mythology, and personal identity, reflecting the social and political upheavals of the time. F.N. Souza, the intellectual force behind the group, was deeply influenced by European expressionism and surrealism. His bold, distorted figures and provocative themes challenged social norms and explored sexuality, religion, and power structures. M.F. Hussain, who later became one of India's most celebrated artists, blended folk, classical, and modernist elements in his vibrant depictions of Indian mythology, history, and contemporary life. His dynamic brushstrokes and use of bright colors became a signature style. S.H. Raza moved toward abstraction, using geometric forms and spiritual symbolism, particularly the bindu, dot, which later became central to his work. The PAG held its first exhibition in 1949, and despite its short existence, disbanding in 1956, it had a profound impact on Indian modernism. The group's members went on to achieve international recognition, influencing generations of artists. Some, like Souza and Raza, moved abroad, engaging with global modernist movements, while others, like Hussain, continued to work in India, pushing the boundaries of contemporary Indian art. The legacy of the progressive artists group lies in its radical departure from tradition and its embrace of modernism as a means of expressing the complexities of post-independence India. The group's influence continues to be felt in Indian contemporary art, as its pioneering spirit paved the way for future artists to experiment, innovate, and assert their individuality on the global stage. Indian art in the global context. Indian art has evolved from its deep historical roots to become a significant force in the global art scene. While traditional Indian artistic expressions have long been admired worldwide, the modern and contemporary art movements have brought Indian artists into international prominence. The intersection of tradition and modernity, combined with themes of identity, globalization, and cultural heritage, has positioned Indian art within a broader global discourse. Historically, Indian artistic traditions influenced and were influenced by various cultures through trade and conquests. The exchange of ideas with Central Asia, Persia, and Europe can be seen in Mughal miniature paintings, Indo-Saracenic architecture, and textile traditions that traveled through the Silk Road. Colonial rule further expanded India's artistic interactions, introducing European realism and academic styles, while also fostering a nationalist revival in the form of the Bengal School. This early global engagement laid the foundation for Indian art's integration into modern international movements. The post-independence period saw Indian artists gaining greater recognition on the global stage. The progressive artists group PIG played a crucial role in this, as figures like F.N. Souza, S.H. Raza, and M.F. Hussain pushed boundaries by engaging with modernist trends while retaining distinctly Indian themes. Raza's abstract geometric works, for instance, resonated with global audiences while drawing from Indian spiritual and symbolic traditions. Similarly, Hussain's dynamic depictions of Indian mythology and contemporary life found a place in international exhibitions and collections. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, contemporary Indian artists began addressing global issues such as migration, environmental concerns, and post-colonial identity. Artists like Anish Kapoor, known for his large-scale sculptures and experiments with space and perception, gained worldwide acclaim. His works, including the iconic Cloud Gate in Chicago, transcend cultural boundaries while maintaining a philosophical depth, often linked to Indian concepts of form and void. Subodh Gupta reinterprets everyday Indian objects, such as tiffin boxes and kitchen utensils, in monumental installations that reflect on globalization and material culture. The global art market has also embraced Indian art, with Indian artists frequently featured in prestigious biennales, galleries, and auctions. The Venice Biennale, Art Basel, and Sotheby's and Christie's auctions have showcased contemporary Indian artists, reinforcing India's presence in the international art world. Institutions like the Kochi Muziris Biennale have further bridged local and global artistic conversations. inviting international artists while promoting Indian contemporary art. Indian art today is deeply embedded in global cultural networks, drawing from both its rich heritage and contemporary concerns. By blending tradition with innovation, Indian artists continue to shape and influence the ever-evolving landscape of global art. Contemporary trends and digital art. Indian art has undergone a significant transformation in recent decades, embracing new mediums, themes, and technologies. Contemporary Indian artists are no longer confined to traditional painting and sculpture. Instead, they explore installation art, performance art, conceptual practices, and digital mediums. These shifts reflect the changing social, political, and technological landscape, positioning Indian art firmly within the global contemporary movement. One of the key trends in contemporary Indian art is the focus on socio-political themes. Many artists engage with issues such as gender, caste, migration, environmental degradation, and urbanization. Nalini Malani, for example, creates multimedia installations that address feminism and historical memory, using shadow play and video projections. Similarly, Jatish Kala explores themes of time, history, and globalization through large-scale installations and mixed media works. His pieces often incorporate text, archival materials, and scientific references, bridging the gap between past and present. Another major trend is the resurgence of indigenous and folk traditions in contemporary contexts. Artists like Gond artist Jangar Singh Shyam and Madhubani painter Bawa Devi have brought traditional tribal and folk art forms into mainstream contemporary discourse, blending them with modern narratives. This has led to a greater appreciation of regional artistic practices while also allowing these traditions to evolve in a contemporary framework. The rise of digital art and new media has further revolutionized the Indian art scene. With advancements in technology, artists are now using artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, and blockchain-based NFTs to push creative boundaries. Raghava KK, for instance, experiments with AI-generated artworks and interactive pieces that challenge the conventional notions of authorship and creativity. Similarly, digital artist Harshit Agrawal merges machine learning with traditional Indian aesthetics, exploring the intersection of technology and cultural heritage. Social media and online platforms have also played a crucial role in democratizing art and expanding its reach. Digital exhibitions, virtual reality museums, and online art marketplaces have allowed Indian artists to showcase their work globally without the constraints of physical galleries. The emergence of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, has also introduced new ways for artists to monetize their work, creating a decentralized art economy. Platforms like WazirX NFT Marketplace have enabled Indian digital artists to gain international recognition. As Indian contemporary art continues to evolve, it reflects a blend of tradition, innovation, and technological advancements. The integration of digital art, along with socially engaged and experimental practices, ensures that Indian artists remain at the forefront of global artistic discourse, continuously redefining the boundaries of creative expression. Chapter 9: Traditional Arts and Crafts of India. India has a rich and diverse tradition of arts and crafts that date back thousands of years, deeply rooted in its cultural heritage, religious practices, and daily life. These crafts, passed down through generations, showcase the exceptional skill and creativity of artisans across the country. Whether in textiles, pottery, metalwork, or painting, traditional Indian crafts reflect the intricate beauty and craftsmanship that continue to thrive despite modernization and industrialization. Textile arts have been one of India's most celebrated traditional crafts. Techniques such as bani, tie-dye, from Gujarat and Rajasthan, pashmina weaving from Kashmir, and Kanjivaram silk from Tamil Nadu are renowned for their intricate designs and exquisite craftsmanship. Block printing, particularly from regions like Bagh, Sanganer, and Adrak, has also remained an enduring craft, blending age-old dyeing techniques with contemporary fashion trends. The art of embroidery, including chikankari from Lucknow and fulkari from Punjab, demonstrates the painstaking attention to detail that Indian artisans bring to fabric decoration. Pottery and terracotta work have been integral to Indian culture, with styles such as blue pottery of Jaipur and Bankura horses from West Bengal, standing out for their distinctive aesthetics. The use of clay and natural pigments in pottery has been an ancient practice, often associated with religious rituals and daily household use. The terracotta figurines of Malella and Bishnupur further highlight the deep connection between art and mythology in Indian traditions. Metalwork is another traditional craft that continues to thrive in India. The Dokra lost wax technique, practiced by tribal artisans in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha, is known for its rustic yet intricate bronze sculptures. Bidriware from Karnataka, an elegant form of inlay work using silver and zinc, is highly prized for its ornamental appeal. Similarly, Kanza bell metal, utensils from Odisha and Bihar, remain significant in traditional Indian households for their health benefits and durability. India is also home to an extraordinary tradition of folk and tribal paintings. Madhubani from Bihar, Worli from Maharashtra, Patachitra from Odisha and Bengal, and Gond art from Madhya Pradesh are among the most well-known forms. These art styles, often practiced by rural and tribal communities, depict mythological stories, nature, and social themes using natural pigments and traditional techniques. Despite their ancient origins, these folk art forms have gained global recognition and are now incorporated into contemporary decor and fashion. Traditional Indian arts and crafts are not just remnants of the past, but a living heritage that continues to evolve. With renewed interest in handmade products, government initiatives, and digital marketplaces, these crafts are finding new audiences while preserving the skills and traditions of India's artisans. The enduring beauty of Indian handicrafts serves as a testament to the country's rich artistic legacy and its ability to adapt to changing times while maintaining its cultural essence. Textile arts, weaving, embroidery, and block printing. India's textile arts are among the most celebrated and enduring traditions in the world, reflecting the country's deep-rooted craftsmanship, regional diversity, and artistic excellence. The art of weaving, embroidery, and block printing has been practiced for centuries, with each region developing its own distinct techniques and styles. These textile traditions are not only an essential part of India's cultural identity, but also continue to influence contemporary fashion and global textile markets. Weaving has been a cornerstone of India's textile heritage, with some of the finest hand-woven fabrics originating from different parts of the country. The Banarasi silk from Varanasi is known for its luxurious texture and intricate brocade patterns woven with gold and silver threads. Similarly, Kanjivaram silk from Tamil Nadu is prized for its durability, vibrant colors, and elaborate temple motifs. The Pashmina wool of Kashmir, derived from the fine undercoat of the Changtangi goat, is renowned for its softness and warmth. Hand-woven cotton textiles, like khadi, which gained prominence during the Indian independence movement, remain a symbol of self-reliance and sustainability. The weaving traditions of regions such as Bengal's Jamdani, Odisha's Sambalpuri Ikat, and Gujarat's Patola continue to flourish, preserving age-old skills while adapting to modern tastes. Embroidery is another intricate textile tradition that showcases India's artistic finesse. Different regions have developed unique embroidery styles, often reflecting local culture, nature, and mythology. Chikankari from Lucknow, known for its delicate white thread work on fine muslin or cotton, exudes an ethereal charm. Fulkari from Punjab, with its bold and colorful floral patterns, is an important part of Punjabi cultural identity. Kantha embroidery, from Bengal and Odisha, originally used for quilting, has evolved into an elaborate decorative technique featuring motifs of flora, fauna, and folklore. Zardozi, a form of metal embroidery once favored by Mughal royalty, continues to be highly sought after for bridal and ceremonial attire. Block printing is another significant textile tradition, where artisans carve intricate designs onto wooden blocks, dip them in natural dyes, and stamp them onto fabric. Rajasthan is particularly famous for its block printing techniques, such as Bagru and Sanganeri prints, which feature floral and geometric motifs in earthy tones. Ajrak printing, primarily practiced in Gujarat and Sindh, involves complex resist dyeing techniques using natural dyes like indigo and madder. These traditional prints have found a place in contemporary fashion, blending heritage with modern aesthetics. Despite modernization, India's textile arts continue to thrive, supported by artisan communities, designers, and government initiatives. The revival of handloom and sustainable fashion movements has further strengthened the demand for handcrafted textiles, ensuring that India's rich weaving, embroidery, and block printing traditions remain relevant in an evolving world. Folk and tribal art, Madhubani, Warli, and Patachitra. India's folk and tribal art traditions are a vibrant expression of its cultural heritage, deeply rooted in rural and indigenous communities. These art forms, passed down through generations, serve as a medium for storytelling, religious expression, and social commentary. Among the most renowned folk and tribal art styles are Madhubani from Bihar, Warli from Maharashtra, and Patachitra from Odisha and Bengal. Each of these traditions carries a unique visual language and reflects the artistic sensibilities of the communities that practice them. Madhubani art, originating from the Mithila region of Bihar, is characterized by intricate patterns, bold colors, and themes drawn from Hindu mythology, nature, and everyday village life. Traditionally, women painted Madhubani designs on the walls of their homes as a form of ritualistic decoration, especially during festivals and weddings. The artwork is known for its distinct geometric and floral motifs, the absence of empty spaces, and the use of natural dyes. Artists use twigs, fingers, and bamboo pens to create these visually striking compositions. Over time, Madhubani painting has gained global recognition and has been adapted onto paper, canvas, and textiles, ensuring its preservation beyond its rural origins. Warli art, practiced by the Warli tribe of Maharashtra, is one of the oldest tribal art forms in India. It is distinctive for its monochromatic palette, typically white figures painted on a mud-brown background. Unlike Madhubani's intricate detailing, Warli art is minimalistic, using simple stick figures and geometric shapes to depict scenes of daily life, agricultural activities, festivals, and rituals. The central motif in many Warli paintings is the tarpa dance, where villagers form a circular pattern around a musician playing the tarpa, a traditional wind instrument. Warli paintings were originally created on the walls of tribal homes using rice paste, but modern adaptations have allowed artists to bring this ancient art form onto canvas, paper, and fabric. Patachitra, meaning cloth painting, is a traditional art form from Odisha and West Bengal, known for its intricate detailing and mythological storytelling. Patachitra artists, called chitrakars, use handmade natural colors and paint on cloth or dried palm leaves. The themes often revolve around scenes from Hindu epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as depictions of Lord Jagannath, a deity worshipped in Odisha. The paintings are defined by bold outlines, intricate patterns, and elaborate borders, creating a visually captivating narrative style. The scroll painting tradition of Bengal's Patua artists, who travel from village to village, narrating stories through their painted scrolls, is a fascinating extension of this art form. Despite their deep historical roots, these folk and tribal art forms continue to evolve. With increasing appreciation for handcrafted art, government initiatives, and the rise of online marketplaces, Madhubani, Warli, and Patachitra artists have found new platforms to showcase their work. These timeless traditions not only preserve India's artistic heritage, but also continue to inspire contemporary interpretations in fashion, home decor, and digital media. Jewelry, pottery, and metalwork. India has a long and illustrious history of craftsmanship, with jewelry, pottery, and metalwork playing a significant role in its artistic and cultural traditions. These crafts, deeply intertwined with rituals, social status, and aesthetics have been passed down through generations, evolving while maintaining their distinct regional identities. From intricately designed gold ornaments to handcrafted pottery and finely detailed metal artifacts, these artistic expressions continue to thrive both as traditional heritage and contemporary design forms. Jewelry has been an integral part of Indian culture for centuries, not only as an ornament, but also as a symbol of prosperity, devotion, and status. The country is renowned for its diverse jewelry-making traditions, ranging from the elaborate Kundan and Meenakari work of Rajasthan to the delicate temple jewelry of Tamil Nadu, often adorned with motifs of gods and goddesses. The filigree Tarakasi work of Odisha, crafted in fine silver wires, showcases remarkable intricacy, while the bitterware of Karnataka, made from a combination of silver and zinc, is known for its contrasting black and silver patterns. Tribal jewelry, crafted from materials like beads, shells, and silver, reflects the artistic diversity of indigenous communities. The demand for handcrafted jewelry continues to grow, with designers blending traditional techniques with modern aesthetics to create timeless pieces. Pottery, one of the oldest forms of craft in India, has been a part of everyday life and religious practices for millennia. Various regions of India are known for their distinctive pottery styles, each with its own techniques and decorative motifs. Blue pottery of Jaipur, characterized by its Persian-inspired floral patterns and vivid blue glaze, is one of the most celebrated forms of Indian ceramics. Terracotta pottery, widely practiced across states like West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, and Gujarat, is used for both utility and decorative purposes. The famous Bankura horse from West Bengal and the Ayanar horses of Tamil Nadu are prominent examples of terracotta figurines used in religious rituals. The black pottery of Manipur, made without a potter's wheel, showcases the skill and ingenuity of local artisans. In recent years, sustainable and handmade pottery has seen a resurgence, with urban designers promoting traditional clay work as an eco-friendly alternative to industrial ceramics. Metalwork is another significant craft tradition showcasing exquisite detailing and precision. The Dokra lost wax technique, practiced by tribal artisans in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha, produces unique brass figurines with intricate patterns. Panchaloha idols, made from a blend of 5 metals, are revered in temples and homes. The kanza, bell metal, utensils of Odisha and Bihar are highly valued for their durability and health benefits. The fusion of ancient metalworking techniques with contemporary designs has ensured the survival of these crafts, making them relevant in modern decor and utility items. India's jewelry, pottery, and metalwork continue to reflect the country's artistic brilliance and cultural richness. With increasing global interest in handmade and sustainable crafts, these traditions remain vital, preserving India's legacy while adapting to new artistic expressions. Chapter 10: The Future of Indian Art. Indian art has always been a dynamic and evolving entity, shaped by cultural, social, and technological influences. As the world rapidly changes, so too does the landscape of Indian artistic expression. The future of Indian art is a fusion of tradition and innovation, where heritage crafts continue to thrive alongside contemporary and digital forms. With globalization, technological advancements, and new platforms for artistic engagement, Indian artists and artisans are redefining their creative identities while preserving their deep-rooted traditions. One of the most significant aspects of the future of Indian art lies in the revival and sustainability of traditional crafts. Handloom textiles, folk paintings, and indigenous sculpture are finding renewed appreciation as sustainable and ethical consumerism gains momentum. Government initiatives, private enterprises, and e-commerce platforms have provided artisans with new markets, both domestically and internationally. However, challenges remain, including the need for better infrastructure, financial support, and protection against mass-produced imitations. The younger generation of artisans is experimenting with contemporary designs while retaining the essence of their ancestral crafts, ensuring that traditional art forms remain relevant in modern lifestyles. Another transformative force shaping the future of Indian art is the rise of digital and new media art. With advancements in technology, Indian artists are embracing digital tools, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality to create immersive and interactive experiences. Digital platforms have allowed artists to reach a global audience without the constraints of physical galleries. The emergence of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, has opened new avenues for Indian digital artists, offering them a space to monetize their work in the rapidly expanding world of blockchain-based art. Additionally, social media has become a powerful tool for independent artists to showcase their work, connect with collectors, and build sustainable careers outside of traditional art markets. Contemporary Indian artists are also engaging with social and political themes, using their work as a medium for commentary and activism. Issues such as gender identity, climate change, and cultural displacement are frequently explored in modern Indian art, reflecting the concerns of an evolving society. Street art and public installations have gained popularity in urban centers, transforming public spaces into canvases for dialogue and expression. The intersection of art and activism is likely to play an increasingly prominent role in shaping the future of artistic discourse in India. As India's art scene expands, collaborations between artists, designers, and technology innovators will continue to push creative boundaries. The blend of ancient traditions with futuristic techniques ensures that Indian art will remain a vibrant and influential force, constantly reinventing itself while staying connected to its rich heritage. The future of Indian art is not just about preservation, it is about evolution, adaptability, and global resonance. Revival of traditional art forms. The revival of traditional Indian art forms is a crucial movement that bridges the gap between cultural heritage and contemporary artistic expression. For centuries, India's diverse artistic traditions have thrived, deeply rooted in its history, religion, and folklore. However, with industrialization, globalization, and the rise of mass production, many of these art forms face decline. Today, there is a growing awareness and concerted effort to preserve and revive traditional crafts, ensuring their survival for future generations while adapting them to modern sensibilities. One of the primary factors driving this revival is increased recognition and market demand for handcrafted art. Traditional crafts such as Madhubani painting, Patachitra, Worli art, and Kalamkari have gained prominence through government initiatives, museum exhibitions, and online platforms. Organizations and NGOs are working to support artisans by providing training, financial assistance, and direct market access, enabling them to sustain their livelihoods while keeping their ancestral skills alive. Fashion and home decor brands are increasingly incorporating handloom textiles like Banarasi silk, Chanderi, and Kanjivaram into contemporary designs, allowing these traditional crafts to flourish in modern markets. Another key aspect of revival is innovation within tradition. Younger generations of artisans and designers are blending traditional techniques with contemporary aesthetics to appeal to a broader audience. This fusion is seen in textiles, where ancient weaving techniques are being adapted for modern apparel, and in pottery, where age-old styles are being given new forms and functions. Artists practicing Gond, Fad, and Beal painting are experimenting with newer mediums like digital prints, murals, and installations, making their work more accessible to global art lovers. Technology has also played a significant role in revitalizing traditional art forms. Social media, e-commerce platforms, and digital exhibitions have allowed artisans to showcase their work beyond local markets, connecting them directly with collectors, designers, and art enthusiasts worldwide. Many artists now conduct virtual workshops, sharing their craft with a new generation eager to learn and support traditional techniques. Additionally, augmented reality (AR) and artificial intelligence (AI) are being explored as tools to digitize and archive traditional art, ensuring that ancient knowledge is preserved in the digital age. Despite these advancements, challenges remain. Many artisans struggle with access to raw materials, fair wages, and recognition in mainstream art spaces. However, with continued support from the government, private initiatives, and a growing appreciation for sustainable and handmade products, the revival of traditional art forms is gaining momentum. By adapting to modern trends while staying true to their roots, these art forms not only survive but thrive, securing their place in the ever-evolving artistic landscape of India. Role of museums and art institutions. Museums and art institutions play a crucial role in preserving, promoting, and educating the public about India's rich artistic heritage. They serve as custodians of history, safeguarding invaluable artifacts, paintings, sculptures, and textiles that represent centuries of artistic evolution. By offering curated exhibitions, research opportunities, and interactive programs, these institutions bridge the past with the present, ensuring that traditional and contemporary Indian art continues to inspire future generations. One of the primary functions of museums is the preservation and documentation of art. Many historical artworks, temple sculptures, manuscripts, and textiles require careful conservation to prevent deterioration. Institutions like the National Museum in New Delhi and the Indian Museum in Kolkata house extensive collections of ancient artifacts, including Buddhist stupas, Mughal miniatures, and Kola bronzes. These institutions invest in restoration efforts, employing experts who use modern techniques to maintain the integrity of fragile pieces. By digitizing collections and creating detailed archives, museums ensure that these artistic treasures remain accessible for research and education. Beyond preservation, museums and art institutions are instrumental in promoting artistic awareness and appreciation. They organize exhibitions that highlight specific periods, styles, or artists, allowing visitors to explore India's artistic diversity. Retrospectives on celebrated painters such as Raja Ravi Varma or S. Raza help contextualize their contributions within the larger framework of Indian art history. Additionally, many institutions collaborate with international museums, bringing Indian art to a global audience while also showcasing global influences within India. Art institutions also play a key role in supporting contemporary artists and fostering innovation. Organizations such as the National Gallery of Modern Art, NGMA, and the Kiran Nadar Museum of Art, KNMA, actively exhibit works by modern and contemporary Indian artists. These platforms provide emerging artists with opportunities to present their work, experiment with new mediums, and engage with critics and collectors. Many institutions also host artist residencies, allowing creative professionals to collaborate, refine their craft, and gain exposure. Education is another crucial aspect of museums' contributions. Workshops, guided tours, and interactive programs help cultivate an appreciation for art among students, scholars, and general audiences. Some institutions focus on reviving traditional crafts by offering training programs that teach younger generations about indigenous art forms such as Madhubani painting, Worli art, and Patachitra. These efforts not only preserve heritage, but also provide artisans with sustainable livelihood opportunities. As technology advances, museums are embracing digital platforms to expand their reach. Virtual tours, online archives, and augmented reality experiences allow audiences from across the world to engage with Indian art, making it more accessible than ever. By continuously evolving and adapting, museums and art institutions remain vital in shaping the present and future of Indian art, ensuring its legacy endures for generations to come. Indian art in the digital age. The digital revolution has transformed the landscape of Indian art, providing artists with new platforms, tools, and audiences. As technology advances, the boundaries of artistic expression continue to expand, allowing traditional and contemporary art to thrive in innovative ways. The fusion of digital technology with Indian art has not only redefined how artists create, but also how audiences engage with and consume artistic works. One of the most significant developments in the digital age is the rise of digital art and new media. Indian artists are increasingly using digital tools, such as graphic design software, 3D modeling, and artificial intelligence, to create intricate and immersive artworks. Digital illustrations inspired by traditional Indian motifs, folk art, and mythology are gaining popularity, allowing artists to reinterpret cultural heritage in modern formats. Additionally, animation and virtual reality, VR, have opened new dimensions for storytelling, with Indian themes finding their way into interactive digital experiences. The internet has also revolutionized access to art through online galleries, social media, and e-commerce platforms. Previously, artists relied on physical exhibitions and galleries for exposure, but digital platforms have democratized the art world. Websites like Behance, Instagram, and NFT marketplaces enable artists to showcase their work to a global audience without intermediaries. Online auctions and virtual art fairs provide collectors with opportunities to discover and purchase Indian artworks from anywhere in the world. This has particularly benefited emerging artists, who can now gain recognition without traditional gallery representation. One of the most disruptive innovations in recent years has been the advent of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Indian artists have begun embracing blockchain technology to sell digital artworks as unique, verifiable assets. The NFT boom has allowed digital artists to monetize their work while ensuring authenticity and ownership. Many Indian creators, drawing from traditional themes and mythology, are finding new audiences in the global crypto art space, bridging heritage with cutting-edge technology. Museums and cultural institutions in India have also embraced digitization, offering virtual tours, online archives, and interactive experiences. Major institutions like the National Museum and the Indian Museum have begun digitizing their collections, making them accessible to wider audiences. Augmented reality, AR, and artificial intelligence, AI, are also being integrated into exhibitions, providing immersive experiences that bring historical artifacts and paintings to life. Despite these advancements, challenges remain. The digital divide, accessibility issues, and concerns over copyright and digital piracy pose hurdles for artists and institutions. However, as technology continues to evolve, Indian art is set to flourish in new and unexpected ways, ensuring that its rich heritage remains relevant in the digital era. By blending tradition with innovation, Indian artists are redefining what it means to create and experience art in the 21st century. You have been listening to The Art of India, From Ancient Times to the Present, written by High Event, narrated by Kara Miller.